strain of the virus that is now in the U.S., that's been confirmed. It was first discovered in the U.K. It's in many other countries. Apparently, it's much more transmissible and contagious than the previous strains that we've had over the last 9 months.
So the topic is this new deadly strain that's coming from Britain, and it's already here. Oh my God, a new strain. Well, okay, red flags went off when I heard that it was started in Britain. They've been wrong about everything. So sure enough, these estimates that this new strain is 70% more infective and easily spread is coming from the scandalous, discredited Imperial College. That's where Neil Ferguson works or worked. He's the, so they've been, not just with this virus, but previous epidemics, they've been hyping it by 10, 20, they'll say millions will die and literally 10,000 die at most or whatever, so they're just a bunch of political pawns. The Imperial College, it seems to me, is much like our so-called election pollsters here. And, they're used for political purposes. So the lockdown is a political tool being used in Europe. And so so what happened was the virus came out, the vaccine came out, and that poses a big threat to their justification for lockdowns. Oh my God, if you get a vaccine, then you don't need it. So they came up with this whole new idea. Oh, but there's a new virus.
What's your concern level right now, and what's your confidence that the vaccines that are out right now will be effective against this new variant?
Well, this variant, we actually have known about it since July. And it's a variant that it is covered by the vaccine, but it's extremely infectious. So when you hear that, let's say 1 million people traveled over the weekend, last weekend, you know that a good percentage of them are going to have it. And this is just pretty much an epidemiological nightmare because a strain is much more infectious, so it can get more contagious. It's not as deadly to call it like that, but still it's very infectious. So you have to be very careful, especially in the upcoming days, of Christmas and New Year.
Yeah.
Okay, epidemiological nightmare. Here's how it starts. It's some expert institute like the Imperial College or the Seattle-based modeling group that Dr. Birx and then the clinical doctors who are illiterate with the medical literature, who cannot even do basic analysis of a paper and whether it's fraudulent or is unreliable or not. They're totally illiterate. They should have their MDs taken away from them. Anyway, then everyone else in the world regurgitates it. Look, the Imperial College says it's highly infectious. Therefore, this is an epidemiological nightmare, he says. And now millions of people, and these are the Trump supporters and stuff on Newsmax, so even they're being bombarded with this. And they all think, oh my God, it's scary to travel. This is like yelling fire in a theater. It's not First Amendment protected speech. It's illegal speech. It's a crime to do this. It's one thing to have bad reporting on any other topic, but when you scare people with an epidemic, that is a crime. Okay, so this Dr. Varon, hasn't read the literature apparently or doesn't know how to read it, and he's just regurgitating stuff that's totally unfounded. It's coming from the Imperial College. Now, what he's forgetting to say is every single virus mutates. Okay, this new strain is good news. How does the regular flu or anything else go away? Is it mutates into a less deadly version, okay? That's what we're seeing. We're seeing that this so-called Wuhan virus, the coronavirus, is finally mutating. That's good news.
Yeah, we've talked about this a little bit. So there's now people, the criticism has been sort of on the rise recently. President Trump not getting vaccinated yet. He's 74 years old. But I think what people are forgetting is that he's had coronavirus within the last 90 days. Obviously, I'm not a physician, but that means that he would theoretically still have the antibodies. Is there any medical reason for him not to get the vaccine, at least right now?
Well, again, the fact is that we know that, studies in South Korea have shown that you keep your antibodies for about 3 months. So from the time you have the illness, for 3 months you are quote-unquote protected. So I think that
this is basic first-year medical school, okay? Antibodies do not stick around forever. They are the sign of an active infection, okay? You don't want antibodies to chicken pox that you had 30 years ago floating around. What happens is you get T cells that stick around. They're called memory T cells. And then if you get the herpes virus that causes chicken pox that you have immunity to from a child, then antibodies rear up, okay? And only when in your 80s or something do you start to wane and no longer have the ability to have T. So you just because antibodies against the coronavirus go after 3 months doesn't mean you're not immune. You are lifetime immune to the coronavirus. There's every biological reason to think so. There's science papers, there's reports now and so forth, and this guy's not even quoting the best ones. So, and oh, by the way, they're not testing for the right antibodies. In order to test for the proper antibodies, you got to test for 3 different types, and these studies aren't doing it. Now, so this guy doesn't understand basic immunology, and he's the guy in charge of this shady little hospital in Houston who is treating these people. Antibodies go away for every single disease. That is the way the body works. But then if you get infected again, then your T cells with memory kick in, and then you generate new antibodies. So Trump has immunity for life. So does Giuliani. So does Governor Christie. So does everyone else who's gotten this. And oh, by the way, probably 50% or more of the nation has it. So we're all immune to it. Herd immunity is a real thing. I started the concept of herd immunity, and then Scott Atlas ran with it, and then they demonized him. Why? Because it's such a powerful concept. It makes lockdowns totally illegitimate. So, if you mention the word herd immunity, you're a quack. Yeah, because I just blew a hole in your whole rationale for lockdowns.